The establishment of the Kaifeng Jewish community in China is a fascinating story of cultural adaptation, resilience, and global connections. This unique community traces its origins to Jewish merchants who traveled along the Silk Road, likely arriving in China during the Tang (618 to 907 CE) or Song dynasties (960 to 1279 CE). However, it was during the Ming Dynasty (1368 to 1644), and particularly the 15th century, that the Kaifeng Jewish community reached its peak prominence. Arrival and early settlement. Kaifeng, then the capital of the northern Song dynasty, was a thriving city located near the Yellow River. It was a key hub for trade and culture, attracting merchants and settlers from across Asia and the Middle East. Jewish traders, possibly from Persia or Mesopotamia, were among the many foreigners who came seeking economic opportunities. These Jews brought with them their religious texts, practices, and traditions, establishing a presence in the city that would last for centuries. The community's unique identity was solidified under the Ming Dynasty, as they were granted the status of foreign guests, but integrated into the broader society. The Kaifeng Jews referred to themselves as adherents of Yishilei, a transliteration of Israel, and they worshipped in a synagogue that they called the Pure and Truth Hall. This synagogue, built in 1163 and later renovated in the 15th century, became the spiritual and social center of their community. The synagogue and religious practices, the Kaifeng Synagogue, designed in a style that blended Chinese and Middle Eastern architectural influences, reflected the integration of Jewish traditions with Chinese culture. It featured courtyards, a sanctuary for Torah scrolls, and even inscriptions in Hebrew and Chinese. This melding of aesthetics symbolized the community's dual identity as both devout Jews and loyal subjects of the Ming Dynasty. Religious practices in Kaifeng adhered to traditional Jewish customs, including observing the Sabbath, kosher dietary laws, and celebrating festivals like Passover and Yom Kippur. However, as the centuries passed, these practices began to incorporate Chinese elements. For instance, they adopted Chinese surnames such as Zhang, Zhao, and Li, while maintaining their religious distinction. Integration and challenges. Unlike in many parts of the world, the Jews of Kaifeng were not subjected to significant persecution or discrimination. Instead, they enjoyed relative tolerance and were able to integrate into Chinese society. Many became scholars, government officials, and merchants, contributing to the prosperity of the city. However, integration also brought challenges. Over time, as the community adopted Chinese language and customs, their unique Jewish identity began to erode. Intermarriage with local Chinese families and a lack of incoming Jewish migrants further diluted their distinctiveness. By the 15th century, they had already lost the knowledge of Hebrew, and religious texts were being written in Chinese characters. Decline of the community. The decline of the Kaifeng Jewish community was gradual and linked to several factors. The Yellow River's frequent floods devastated the city and disrupted trade, weakening the economic foundation of the community. Additionally, as the Ming Dynasty collapsed and the Qing Dynasty, 1644-1912, rose to power, the Jews faced increasing assimilation pressures. By the 17th century, the Kaifeng Jews struggled to maintain their religious practices. The synagogue fell into disrepair, and many community members converted to other faiths or became fully assimilated into Chinese society. Despite these challenges, some families preserved fragments of their Jewish heritage, passing down traditions and stories through generations. Descendants of the Kaifeng Jews, along with historians and religious leaders, have worked to preserve their unique legacy, ensuring that this extraordinary chapter of Jewish and Chinese history is not forgotten. The story of the Kaifeng Jews highlights the ability of Jewish culture to thrive in diverse and unexpected environments, blending with local traditions while striving to maintain its essence. It is a story of cultural fusion, survival, and the enduring connections forged along the ancient Silk Road.